Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside TK, Tommy Chrysan. Tommy joining us from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen today, right in downtown Port Allen, about 5 minutes across the Mississippi River Bridge from Baton Rouge. So if you're working downtown, you're heading out to the west side, anything like that, Court Street Cafe's got to be on your list for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I'm in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, lasportshall.com. We will have it up and ready to go tomorrow, later today, actually. Our golf tournament. It is 17th, 18th. We are ready to roll November 17th, 18th. We'll tell you plenty more about it. It's going to be at the University Club, the Bears Casino. The party on the 17th from 6 to 9, and then 10 o'clock tea time on the 18th. The Hall of Fame Celebrity Golf Tournament coming right around the corner. And we're, of course, the Bears Casino is our presenting sponsor. They're going to be a sponsor of the party. They're going to be over here sponsoring Sports Shorts Radio and Daily and everything else. Stop by LeBears. And, of course, LeBears was the place to be last night at the ESPN's Bet Sportsbook for the New Orleans Saints game, as the Saints took it on the chin, but to the Chiefs, they did not cover. It was a game where the Saints started off the opening drive. Tommy got the ball, was moving the football. And then Derek Carr threw a 50-50 ball, again, falling backwards, throws a jump ball, double coverage, gets intercepted. And a ball that, to me, didn't need to be thrown. Should have been thrown out of bounds. Just throw it away, live to play another play. I don't think it was third down even. I think it was like second down, if I remember correctly. But again, off the back foot, pressure threw it up. And then after that, it was all Chiefs until finally late in the third quarter, Saints had an unbelievable defensive play, took possession, went down, scored a touchdown, had a chance to cut it to 2, missed the extra point, still only down 3. And then that was as close as they would get. The defense just on the field way too much. Bend but not break defense. They held the Chiefs to field goals, gave the Saints a chance. But in the first 2 games of the season, the Saints averaged 45.5 points a game. In the last 3 games of the season, they've averaged 17 points a game. I mean, there's a lot of things you can point to, but that's obviously a big clear one. Is that the same? 13 points isn't going to win on the road in Kansas City. 15 points or whatever it was, or 13 points isn't 13 or 15 points is against the Eagles. Not going to get it done. I mean, again. You gotta score, and the Saints after the first 2 weeks have not been able to do that. And now it looks like it's going to get harder because Derek Carr left the game in the fourth quarter with an oblique injury. That's something he's had before, and a lot of times those things they'll last you a number of weeks.
Well, Ronnie, back in August, I was pretty adamant about. I thought the Saints would start the season 1-4. Thought they would beat Carolina. Everybody thought that. And then I thought they'd lose their next 4. Well, they're 2-3, and where I was wrong was they destroyed Dallas, okay, and got that win. But now things don't look good. Even if Carr is okay and he can play against the Buccaneers this Sunday, you can't like the Saints' chance. And it goes back to what you said. They're not going to get over 7.5 wins this year. I would think they beat Carolina whenever they play them again. But other than that, I mean, this team's got a lot of injuries, but everybody has injuries. Okay, maybe they have a couple of more than the average. I don't know. I hadn't seen league-wide reports, but it's just not looking good for the New Orleans Saints in any way, shape, or form. And last night's game was kind of one of those where you can say it wasn't as close as the score indicates, 26-13, and 26-13, and they were within 3 in the fourth quarter. So that's anybody's ball game. But you just didn't have the feeling that it would get done. And that is Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs are 5-0. They hadn't lost since, last December or something. And, they just find a way to win. And they've had a lot of injuries. Man, they got you want to say Saints have injuries? Chiefs have a lot of injuries. But the Chiefs are 5-0, the 2-time Super Bowl defending champs. And the Saints are 2-3 with not a lot of hope going forward. I just don't see it.
Yeah, Chiefs are 5-0, trending in the right direction. The Saints are 2-3, trending in the wrong direction. What's incredible, Tommy, is how quickly things change. Dallas Cowboys 3-2, Saints are 2-3. The Saints took the Cowboys to the woodshed. We're 2-0. Everybody talking about Super Bowl in New Orleans, and then here we are. Cowboys have won 3, or 3-2, and it's just, I don't even know what to say. The Saints are done, and I'm not being dramatic. You had a chance to be 4-0. Legitimately, you had the lead against the Eagles and the Falcons with under 2 minutes to play in both games, one at home, one on the road, and you lost them. You could have been 4-0. You were 2-2, but you could have been 4-0, and it should have been 3-1. So you kind of had some bad luck, really, a little bit. I mean, obviously you make your own luck, but you probably should have been 3-1, and you found yourself 2-2. Last night they should have, that game should have counted for 2 losses. They were so outclassed by the Chiefs, and now it's not going to get any better because, right? I mean, regardless of whether the car is out 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks, doesn't make a difference. The backup quarterback ain't gonna help, and it's bigger than that, right? Like, I mean, it's yes, everybody has injuries, Tommy, but if you have 3 of the right injuries or 3 of the wrong injuries, it makes it. Everybody's going to have injuries. It's just you hope it's not your quarterback. Look at the Jets last year. Aaron Rodgers done. So first play of the season, first drive of the season, their season was over with because it was the wrong guy. They could have had 5 injuries on defense and still been okay. And unfortunately, it was the wrong one. And that's what's happening here. It's Taysom Hill. It's now Carr. It's it's your center. It's your right left guard. It's the wrong injury that you can't overcome. And it's Gay, the linebacker, who you signed in the offseason. It was going to make a difference, and didn't even get to play against his old team. I mean, like, it's just the wrong injury, and the Saints weren't good enough going into the year. They shocked everybody for the first 2 games and looked like maybe okay, maybe we're wrong. And then all of a sudden the injuries happen to the wrong people, and they just don't. They're not that kind of team. We knew that. They were overplaying. They were playing well together as a group, and then once all those injuries happen to the wrong people, it's night. And Carr played bad last night before he suffered the oblique injury. He missed a wide open. He missed 2 or 3 game changing throws, and then it was clear, Tommy, to me he was hurt a couple plays before when he left the game, because remember on that second down when they sent the house and blitzed and he threw off of his back foot and just kind of threw it into triple coverage.
Yeah.
He didn't get touched. The Saints picked up the blitz. They had a pocket around him. He literally didn't get a hand on him, and he threw as if he was getting hit in the face. To me, that's a gun shy quarterback. Somebody who's maybe he was hurt and he didn't want to take another hit, because he could have stepped into that and thrown it. And he just didn't. He followed him as soon as the pressure came. Back foot, throw it up for grabs when he just didn't need to do that.
Well, as we wrap it up on the Saints, I will say this. I really like the all-white uni with the black helmet. I thought that looked sharp, and a couple of my buddies on text messages all thought it looked sharp too. So, and again, I liked when LSU did the all-white, So I don't know. Something about that I just think looks classy, looks good, looks sharp. But the Saints didn't play well. And going back to when you talk about that interception he threw on the first drive, that 50-50 ball, that's something a rookie quarterback does and throws that. You can't be the veteran that Carr is and make that throw. And he knows that, but he still did it wrong. Okay. I mean, that's bottom line is you can't do that. You throw it in row 2, and play the next play.
Jaden Daniels isn't doing that. He's played 5 games, 4 games in the NFL. All right, we move on. Major League Baseball playoffs. Look, it's anybody's playoff. These are.
We said that last week. All 8 can win it.
I mean, it's a 4 series. They're all 1-1, best of 5s. Big, huge game today for LSU's own Aaron Nola. Phillies and Mets are 1-1. He's got to pitch in New York. Going to be a raucous environment. Anytime you play the Mets or the Yankees in the playoffs, it's like playing in Philly. Quite frankly, he's going to get a taste of it going over there. This is if there's ever the most important game's got to be 1-1, right? In a best of five. I mean, this is a huge game for Nola today.
Well, the way I got my day planned out, I'm be in front of the TV at 4 o'clock to watch Nola play and watch the Phillies and the Mets get after it. Again, pretty cool that all four series are 1-1, and so we'll just have to see how that plays out. It's going to be fun. Dodgers, Padres tonight from the West Coast in San Diego. They've been chippy. There's been a lot of words flying around, a lot of things, interaction with the fans when Profar robbed that home run the other night. Nobody knew he caught it for a couple of seconds, including the Dodger radio announcer, who I happened to be in the truck listening to that. They thought it was a home run, and all of a sudden, Profar had the ball. So anyway, it's craziness in baseball, and it's all about the guy on the mound. We're finding out there's some real dudes like Lugo and Scooble and King from Cleveland. I mean, you got some guys that are just taking over on the mound, and that's what it's all about.
Scooble, being he's playing for Detroit, the only time you really see him, the highlights, on Sports Center or something like that. And so I've watched him more in the last month than I have, in the whole season. He is the modern day Sandy Koufax. I mean, he really is. Even with like the leg kick and everything. I mean, he's got that big old school leg kick right over the top. I mean, it is as if you need to check his 23andMe. I don't know if Sandy spent some time wherever school, it's passed on down or whatever. He got his grandpa, but I mean, Sandy, he is the real deal, and I mean, it doesn't matter what situation he's in. He's got the confidence, as well he should. And at the end of the day, Tommy, he can left-handed with a 98 when he needs it anytime. I mean, that's an equalizer. I don't know what to throw here. Let me just throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from the left side with violent leg kick and arm action. I mean, he's something else, and a young man. He's going to be a superstar for a long time. The league has some superstars on the mound, no doubt about it. I don't know about offense, because I mean, the offense, a superstar nowadays in offense is you hit 260 with 28 homers, you're $100 million man.
Well,
Yeah.
October postseason baseball is a beautiful thing.
I was talking to Todd Walker a few weeks ago, and we were talking about how averages and all are, changed, and there's only like a couple guys hitting over 300, and the average of the average hitter is a bunch of points less than it used to be. Todd's like, I was hitting 240 once and got sent down to AAA early on in my career. He's like, give me 240 now, you're getting like a mega contract deal. He's like, I was at 240 and they sent me down 240 something, and they sent me down.
Oh man.
Let's talk a little college football. Over the weekend, It was wild and willy over the weekend. Of course, everyone talking about Vanderbilt over Alabama. As well they should. I mean, they tore the goalpost down. They threw the goalpost in the river. It reminded me of when LSU beat Florida in '97 when they were number one in the country with Herb Tyler and Tommy Banks. And then you had I was at the game when UL, the Raging Cajuns, beat Texas A&M over in Lafayette back in the mid '90s. I was there with my brother. And my brother was, I think, a senior in high school, and he ran onto the field. I think it was fall of '96, if I remember correctly. He ran onto the field, and, they did the same thing. They took the goalpost to, like, the strip, where all the bars were in Lafayette where the college kids went. I mean, carried the goalpost to the strip. I mean, that was something that the folks in Nashville, the Vandy fans, will remember forever. And hopefully now the Nashville fans will wake up and support them, because Vanderbilt won that game, Tommy, in front of a stadium that was more than 50% Alabama.
Yeah, man, that's obviously the story of the year so far was that Vandy win, and Tennessee loses to Arkansas. I mean, you just had a lot of things going on, and I think we're going to keep getting that. I mean, Halloween's coming up, trick or treat. I mean, I think college football, and there's lots of reasons for it. We all know that, from portal to NIL and this, that, and the other. But college football, I mean, it's hard to bet that stuff. It's always hard to bet and to win. I think it's harder now in the NFL and in college football to pick that winner and pick that value and all that. But wow. And then, now LSU fans just watched everything happen last week. Now you got a big one with Ole Miss coming to Baton Rouge Saturday night. Rebels a 2.5-point favorite. It's going to be real crowded. It's going to be crowded out of the Bears the night before. We'll be out there Saturday morning for radio and LSU Ole Miss. Go to hell, Ole Miss, right? That's the old saying that everybody knows. And it's going to be a heck of a game. And if LSU find a way to win the game, they are 2.5-point dogs. They jumped into the top 10 in one of the polls at number 10. They beat Ole Miss. They're going to be in the hunt for that playoff unless other things change.
Well, I mean, obviously LSU got a lot of help in the polls and with the path being muddied ahead of them with a lot of teams losing in the top 20. But the one thing they didn't get help from was from USC. USC went on the road and lost at Minnesota. And so Southern Cal's now with 2 losses. And again, that hurts LSU because you wanted Southern Cal to go, 11-1 and, or 12, whatever. You want to have a great year so that it makes that loss look better. Instead, Southern Cal's not doing that. And that ain't going to be the last loss that they have.
No.
So that I think part of why they didn't jump up more in some of those polls, some of the polls they didn't jump at all, was because of that Southern Cal loss.
Yeah, I agree completely. It matters on what those people you play do, and now the season's going on. It's a lot of craziness in college football this year, and again, 12 teams are going to be in the playoffs. So we got more craziness in front of us.
A couple other teams to mention, the Raging Cajuns went over and won for the first time in 30 years or whatever in Southern Miss. Now, Southern Miss is not the same Southern Miss that they've been. I don't know what the heck's happened to them. I mean, that once proud program has fallen on hard times. I mean, they are awful. And then Tulane, my goodness, they hang 70+ on UAB. Is just Trent Dilfer getting fired yet? I mean,
well, he's got to be. I mean, that was a mistake by UAB, no question about that.
I mean, UAB. That's a bizarre fit anyway to me. Trent Dilfer, the head coach at UAB. But that said, Tulane is rolling right now. And they rushed the ball. I think they averaged over 300 yards rushing or something like that. I mean, just torched them. And to do that on the road, I don't care who you play, to go hang 70+ on the road is impressive. So the Green Wave now, they're not going to, they don't have any kind of playoff opportunity, but they are much better than we thought. Willie Fritz is over there, the former Tulane coach is over there at Houston. He got the surprise win against TCU, but other than that, they've been awful. And then Tulane's over here. Everybody thought, kind of left them for dead. Well, we had a nice little couple-year run with Willie, and that's over with. No. Tulane's staring down bowl eligibility and looking for more. So those 2 wins by the Raging Cajuns and Tulane, both pretty impressive, and shows even more what a good game that was between Tulane and the Raging Cajuns, where Tulane won a close one-score game over in Lafayette a couple of weeks ago.
There was a lot of big talk about John Sumrall, the coach at Tulane, when he came in, and his resume, and the people in New Orleans, our media colleagues that met him and heard him talk off the record and on the record, they were really impressed by him. Well, guess what? His football team's impressed by him too, because they're playing some really good football. And it's good to see the Raging Cajuns and the Green Wave. Louisiana Monroe's off to their best start in football in many, many years. I mean, hey, things are happening, for the state of Louisiana in football.
Yeah, John Summerall came over from Troy and did good things over there. Again, you hope if you're Tulane, like, yay, but is somebody going to steal him? That's the only bad thing, being that.
Well, I would say this:
major, but kind of are.
They stole Willie Fritz. They're going to steal John Sumrall. That's a fact. Because John's like 20 years younger than him, and I'm guessing at that number, but it's in that ballpark.
You're going to have a Florida job that is going to be open. I'm just thinking about geographical type jobs that sort of garner a conversation. You're going to have the Florida job that's going to come open. You're not going to have the Auburn job come open because I think the buyout is way too big and they have a very good recruiting class scheduled, but they probably should. Who knows what the hell Mississippi State's going to do or not do or whatever the case may be. But Florida State. I mean, are they going to, if they go 0-12 or whatever, they go 1-11, are they going to stay put? I don't know. It's a wild world out there, and people just don't have the patience that they used to anymore with the transfer portal and NIL and the way they just get rid of coaches so fast. So you never know.
Well, Ronnie, years ago it was like, oh, the buyout's too big. But most schools that ship has sailed. That most, especially your big time schools that have the resources and have money, and you can get guys to write the checks. I mean that ship has sailed. I don't think anybody's safe because their buyout might be big. Not just because of Jimbo Fisher, but there's a list of other guys making a lot of money to not coach. The best job in America is being a fired college football coach.
The only thing I'll say about that, Tommy, and we don't know yet, it's just everything's still so new, is now that they're paying players, and next year they're going to be really paying players, profit sharing, all that's coming in, and they're going to, they've got to set aside so much money now, so many millions and millions of dollars for players that I'm looking forward to seeing if the coaches start to, maybe their salaries start to, I don't know that they'll come back, right? You're not going to all of a sudden recoil, but not jump like it has. Like, hey, I know you're making 8 million, coach, and you want to make 10, but I mean, if we give you 10, then I can't get you your quarterback you want. You know what I mean? Like, and so at some point, salaries are going to have, you can't keep doing both. You can't do players and coaches' salaries. And then the other thing is the contracts, the guaranteed money and all that. I think the coaches are going to have to wear it. It's sort of a chicken and an egg, yeah, we got a great coach, but no players. Well, I think you got to have both.
No, I agree. And there's going to be a tipping point. And then, but it's kind of like when the portal first came out and NIL first came out. If you don't embrace it, if you don't, make it a part of the fabric, the thread in your fabric, you're going to get left behind, which is then going to lead to the Super Football Conference of, some teams from the SEC and some teams from the Big Ten just doing their own thing. There's lots of meetings going on about that right now. And, that's going to happen. We just don't know when. Just like, 25 years ago, we thought there'd be a playoff system. We didn't know when. All of a sudden, we had the 2-team playoff. Then we thought it would expand. Didn't know when. It became a 4-team thing. Here we are, 12, and it might be 16 in the future. Who knows? So, but it's all about the money. Follow the money, and you'll get to the root of it all.
TK, tell us about Court Street Cafe.
Hey, breakfast, lunch, dinner right here in Port Allen. Plenty of parking. Had some people out on the patio this morning enjoying the cool weather. The Sunday brunch, the steak night on Saturday night, full service bar. Jason and the staff do a super job at Court Street Cafe. You need to come get some breakfast, lunch, dinner. As we always say, you're in downtown Baton Rouge, you can get to Court Street Cafe at Port Allen very quickly, then get on back over to work, whatever it might be. But make plans maybe on that Saturday night. Got LSU game this week, but if you're not going to that game, they'll have it on here. And come get the steak night special or the Sunday brunch when you're wrapping up the weekend. Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. You really need to check it out.
Program change, right? Like we're back, Thursday?
Thursday morning, I'll be over at Tremonti's, and we'll get ready, everybody ready for the weekend, and pay attention to Major League Baseball. By the way, LSU fall baseball is underway. I need to try to get out there soon and check it out. I'll have to get a roster or something because there's so many new guys, but everything's full speed ahead. College basketball right around the corner. So Sports Shorts Daily going to keep rolling on and keep mixing it up.
All right, for Tommy Christ saying, I'm Ronnie Rance. We'll be back on Thursday morning as well as Friday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily presented by LeBear's Casino. Please like and share this video. Hope everybody has a great one. We'll see you then.